everyone to the Thursday, November 5th meeting of your Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. If you'll stand with me, our invocation day will be led by the Reverend Bill LaBar, our pledge by Josh Farrar. Neil and Sandra will lead us in singing My Country 'Tis of Thee, and Dr. Farrar will introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. Bill, I'm glad you're here. That arm doing better? Left arm? All right.
That's as high as it will go.
Okay, all right.
It's better.
We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Prayer.
Yes, I'm Ken Lancaster. Ken Lancaster's service is going to be at Graveside a week from tomorrow. That would be Friday the 13th at 1 o'clock at the Oak Grove Cemetery. Because it's outside in a graveside, that means everybody can come. They're limited in the funeral home to just 40 people. But outside, you can come and social distance, and it won't be long. But I've talked to Myrna, and that's very much what she wants, and so that's what we'll do. Okay? With that, would you join me in the spirit of prayer? Oh God, we give you thanks for this absolutely gorgeous November day. We give you thanks for our club and what it does in our community. We give you thanks for the bounty of this table. We ask your spirit to be upon us, to bless our club and its work, to bless this food, to take it to the nourishment of our bodies, and to keep us this day in your peace. In the name of the Christ, amen.
Thank you, Bill. Josh, lead us in the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My country is a sweet land of liberty, a free I see, and where my fathers died, land of the freedom of every mountain side, and freedom free. I think we're going to practice a little bit on that. Can we practice a little lower?
Practice in a low. Well, we were going to have Dr. Parra introduce our visiting Rotarian guest, but I don't see any visiting Rotarians. So I believe we're all family here today. So glad to have everyone in the room and all of our Rotarians joining us online. We thank you for being here with us today. We do have a couple of quick announcements. I was looking for Ed McCarty. Let's see, is Ed online there, Jordan? Okay. Well, if you remember last week, Ed made a request or made us aware that we were going to start the bell ringing for the Salvation Army in November. That's coming up in 2 weeks. So I thought he would be here with a sign-up sheet today, but just try to keep your Friday after Thanksgiving and Saturday, and then our Saturdays in December available, where maybe you can do a 2-hour shift and help ring the bell for the Salvation Army. Bob Bourgeois has an announcement for us about the flag program. So Jordan, do we have him hooked up, or Bob?
Can you hear me?
Just one moment. You got him? Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
We're not hearing anything.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Last week, I was reminded when I went to the YMCA to pick up flags that I put about 60 of them in my SUV, and I noticed that on the cardboard I put on the dashboard, there was some water after I made a hard stop. So that told me that I'm used to emptying the water out of the flags like at July 4th and after Labor Day. But Rick Lindsay also mentioned to me that he thinks the water sitting in the flagpoles, because remember that bottom 6 inches or so fills up with a mud or a clay, and any rain that goes in there sits in there for months. He thinks that the interior of the pole is rusting out, and that's why some of them are starting to bend. So next year, we need to put corks in the top of every flagpole. So we need to ask everyone we know, every restaurant you go to, and everyone you know that drinks a lot of wine, please start saving your corks. That's it.
Now, Bob, can you hear me? Did you say that those 2 corks are just from this morning? Is that? I'm kidding. Well, we will do our best to collect those, go to restaurants, and if you'll bring them to Rotary, we'll gather them here, we'll get them to Bob, or we'll get them to the shed so we can be set up for next year. We did have our flag distribution, our last one of 2020. That happened on Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning, depending upon the teams, but all of the flags should be out. And they'll stay out through Veterans Day next Wednesday. We'll pick them up Thursday or Friday of next week. So if you hadn't been to some of those areas in the city, especially Millennium Fountain and Convention Center, they just look amazing. Definitely shows off our city pride and patriotism. So we're grateful for all the teams and all the help with that. Looking to see if we have any other announcements. Oh, I do have a presentation. Is Max, do you plan online there? Max just jumped on. All right. Can you go to the
On?
I can see everybody. Well, if you were here last week or you joined us online last week, you saw that Max got her 29th year Rotary attendance pin. So I'm looking for Max. There she is right there in the middle. Max, congratulations on that. Well, I got home that day and I had a package from Rotary, and lo and behold, in the package was Max's Paul Harris +5 pin. So Max, I have a Paul Harris +5 to award to you.
Right.
So just stick your hand out. I'm going to hand you this pin. Okay, there you go. All right. And we're grateful for your support of the Rotary Foundation and the Paul Harris Fellow Program. So I will pass this on to your district governor. John, what is your title now officially? Igor. All right. We'll pass this along to Igor. And he said he would bring that. I'm not sure if that's an official Rotary title, but John will bring this to you, Max. Thank you for your support of the Paul Harris Fellow Program. Well, we've got an exciting program today with our club. Did you have another announcement, Bobby? We are going to do some Rotary attendance awards probably over the next 2 weeks. So we'll look forward to handing those out. I want to give our speaker plenty of time to update us today. So Rick Lindsay is going to introduce our speaker. So as President Lindsay, I will turn it over to you, sir.
Okay, very well. Thank you, President Alsop. It is my pleasure today to introduce a friend of this Rotary Club and the flag program. The Millennium Fountain is a result of working closely with the city of Irving and, of course, working with Joe and his team. So, Joe, thank you very much. Hopefully you'll have some comments. But in talking with Joe the other day, he mentioned that he is here from New York. So I'm not sure, Joe, if that means you were a middle linebacker for the Jets or the Giants, but it's Irving's gain that you're here working with us. You mentioned that you had attended Dallas Baptist College. So that means you're a pretty local trained guy. I know you've been with the city of Irving for many years, served with Ray under Parks and Rec. You're a great friend to the Rotary Club. Joe is in charge of 43 plus parks, 2,000 acres, all the pools, etc. If you've had a chance to drive down State Highway 356 down through town, you've seen what's going on. If you've been over on Las Colinas Boulevard. So it is my pleasure to welcome today to speak to us about what's going on. There's some exciting things in the city of Irving Parks and Rec. The director of the Parks and Rec department for the city of Irving, Mr. Joe Moses. Joe?
Thank you, guys. Thanks. It's always a pleasure to come here. And Rick, let me apologize to you. I know I was supposed to send you some more information on my bio and got sidetracked with that. But Mr. Lindsay is absolutely correct. I am a graduate of Dallas Baptist University. I was joking with a couple of guys at the table. I am from upstate New York originally, and originally I started out at St. Rose College. So I started out at a Catholic school and graduated from a Baptist school. So I guess that makes me officially Texas now. So, but yeah, I have Amy Sturman here with me, and Amy is our special events coordinator. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of the projects and things that we got going on in our department. And then I want Amy to talk to you a little bit about the special events and some of the things we got going on. First and foremost, really want to thank the Rotary Club for your partnership with the flag program. I've always had a great view outside of my office window of the Millennial Fountain. And I told Rick the other day, I came in and I looked out my window and I saw the fountain all dressed up with the flags on it. And I was just like, you know, what other way to start your day than to go and look out your window and see all those American flags out there around that fountain. So again, thank you guys. I think that's a great program. And you talk about taking a great project and making it look a lot better, put those flags around that fountain and that dresses it up every time. So again, thank you guys for that partnership. One of the projects I want to talk about is our Irving Golf Club. If you guys been here for a while, you know that the city had back in the 80s, 85, we had Twin Wells Golf Club opened up. And at that time, it was a great golf course here for the city. And it operated for a number of years fairly well and then started to go into decline. And quite frankly speaking, it was an embarrassment for the city. You know, Irving is a city known for doing things at a high level, and the golf course just wasn't representing the city well. We undertook that project to renovate that course. So we did a renovation on that course, renamed the course. There was about a $5 million investment put into the golf course. We did a redesign of the back nine on the golf course, put new greens out there, redid the fairways, redid the clubhouse, hired a brand new management company. So we just completed our first year of operation at the Irving Golf Club. So with the rebranding and the rename and the new management of the course, we finished with just under 30,000 rounds. To be exact, we had 29,975 rounds. I would have paid for those other 25 rounds to get 30, but I was very happy with that. The course the course had an operating budget of operating expenses of just over $1.2 million. The good news is we brought in over $1.3 million in revenue. So for the first year of operation for a municipal golf course, we actually finished just under $50,000 in the black. That is an outstanding feat for a municipal golf course, because one of the things about a municipal course is, of course, our fees, our green fees are below market value because it's subsidized because we want our residents to be able to play golf. So to be able to operate at that level and operate in the black is a really good thing for our city. It's a great thing with our management company. And on top of that, we have a municipal golf course that I'm very proud to say is Irving. And I think if you go out there and you see the course, you'll be very proud of it, that you live in the city that has that caliber of municipal golf course. And I would put it up against any other public golf course in the Metroplex. So very happy to present that to you and let you guys know about that. A couple other things that are going on. As you know, with the pandemic right now, it's really had an impact on what we do. We're Parks and Recreation. One of the key things that we do is we like to bring people together. So it's been very challenging for us how to bring people together. One of the big areas in our operation is our Heritage Senior Center hasn't been able to operate. But we know how essential those services are to that portion of our community. So our staff has done a great job. We're providing meals still throughout the whole pandemic. We've been continually providing our meals to the folks at the Heritage Senior Center. We have a drive-up service where members actually can drive up, pick up their lunch, or we have an in-home service where we're actually going door to door to those folks that are signed up, delivering meals to them. And one of the most important services that we also do at the Heritage Senior Center is we have, I guess they're called care calls, where staff has a scheduled time where they call members that usually would come to the rec center, because we have a lot of members that are at home that can't get out, and their only contact is people that make those calls. So it's an essential service that we do is we call, we check on those members, how their day's doing, just a socialized call. It's something that when you think about it, if that's the only call you're getting that day, it's very important to those people. And it's something that I'm proud that my staff is doing, that we're checking in on our customers, our guests, that even though you're not coming into our facilities, you're still our guests, you're still our residents, they still mean something to us. And it's very important to us that we're reaching out, maintaining that contact, letting them know that we're thinking about them and we miss them. So those are some of the services that we're still doing. We still are working, the school district is back open. We still have after school programs. We have limited capacity, but we're providing those services for those parents that have to work, that are putting their kids in school. We still have the after school program at our rec center. We have a safety protocol in place to make sure that those kids are in safe environments. And again, very proud of our staff doing those types of things. Some of the other things that we've done during this pandemic is, or at our special events, we had to do some altercations to some of the events and services that we provide. And Amy's here to speak about that. I'm going to bring her up shortly. But one of the things I want to talk about and highlight is if you guys have been on Facebook, we did a Clue game, did it in our park system. And that was the brainchild of Amy, who I'm going to bring up here. But just a great example of ways of interacting with our public without physically being there. Where we had them out, introduced them to our trail system, got people outside the house to play a game of Clue online. Tremendous success, and it was a way to get people out there to our trails and to explore what we have here to offer in the city of Irving. So that's my portion that I want to update you guys about, was the golf course and some of the things that we're doing during this pandemic to stay engaged. At this time, I'd like to bring up Miss Amy Kincaid. Amy is my special events supervisor with the city. I want to give Amy an opportunity to talk to you a little bit about Erie Irving and some of the events that we've done here to engage our citizens, and also talk about two really big, exciting projects that we have. One that'll be open this year, one that'll be open next year. That'll be our Levy Event Plaza, and then also the Heritage Park. If you guys been downtown, you realize that there's been a lot of activity in Heritage Park. I think you're really going to be excited about what's going to be down at Heritage Park and what that can potentially mean to the future of downtown Irving. So, Amy.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here today. I'm a DFW native. Pretty much drive through Irving every day of my life, so I'm excited to actually be with the city. I have a long history with Parks and Rec special events. I've been with the city for 2 years. My last job was with the city of Grapevine, doing festival and events and stuff. And so I bring a large vision to Irving of where hopefully we can head with the new 2 sites that he spoke about. Let's talk about Levy Event Plaza. We're getting ready to do a virtual ribbon cutting in a couple of weeks. It's completed. It's a 6-acre piece of property that we acquired a few years ago from the Levy Levy family, sorry. We're super excited. This will be a great event venue that will be with the background of Lake Carolyn and Las Colinas, just right down the road at 501 East Las Colinas Boulevard. But this is the site that we've historically the last few years have done 4th of July. Canal Fest has been there, just many events. But now we're able to add a lot of many cool features that will help us build a larger event facility. Some of these will include a concrete slab across the entire park that will give us easier access so we won't have to worry about the rain, mud. Can we get a stage in? The importance is that we keep it an open space. So you will not see permanent stages there, and we can change to accommodate any event. But we will have, there's a circular drive for food trucks. There will also be, there's another slab towards Las Colinas Boulevard that will have spaces for vendors. The good thing about this is we already have electric in there, so we won't have to worry about, pulling cords and everything that could be a hazard, and just to make it a nicer vision for those attendees. So that's one of our projects that's coming up. And then the second one is Heritage Park down in downtown Irving. It's 37 years old, time for renovation. And this is going to be a great addition to where we're trying to bring downtown on the economic level. But this park, we're moving some different things. The water tower will still remain there, moving the gazebo, the caboose. But this is going to be another great event site for such things as the holidays, some Main Street events moving forward. But this is exciting because we're building a amphitheater. So we'll have a permanent stage that we could program any time of the day, weekend. In this, there will be sound. There'll also be a large LED screen for backdrops that will all be a part of the construction. So just another great opportunity to bring events, highlight what we have. But the most important is also to bring people in and enjoy what Irving has to offer to boost the economic side of it. So I'm going to kind of backtrack. I wanted to make sure to touch those things, but also just knowing where we are, people are trying to find things to do. So we started as soon as it hit, knowing we saw the attendance of the parks and the trail system increasing and adding signage. So through this, knowing that we couldn't do events, we wanted to make sure that the city had a opportunity to go out and have something to do. So the first thing that we pretty much put out there was the scavenger hunt that we included 8 different parks all over Irving. It's 2 different hunts that we had over 150 families get out and enjoy. So it was a fun thing for us using QR codes, some of the technology that we're trying to implement within our Parks and Rec system. But adding to that, we were able to put together prize bags for everyone that completed the hunt. So our rec staff took a bag to every person that finished that hunt. So we are trying to connect with the community in everything that we do. Next up, like he mentioned, we did the Clue game. It takes me back to my childhood. I love Clue. But what we did was we did our own Parks and Rec edition involving different facilities we have here, different items that you would find and people. So we used Campion Trail along Bird's Fort Trail, and we posted different people, places, and things. So whoever was eliminated, you could go online and tell the story, who did it, with what, and where. So we put together these really cool clue boxes, or what do you call them? Top secret boxes, with some fun stuff. And again, had rec staff deliver those. We had over 200 people complete that. So everyone's like, okay, what's next? What's next? So again, just trying to connect with the community. We also took the 4th of July to virtual this year, which is disappointing, but many cities across the city did. But we went over and beyond again to reach out to the community with the help of the city and our community. We were able to hand out 2,000 family fun 4th packs. I've been practicing that for many months. But it had patriotic items for the families to take home with them to celebrate the 4th of July, what we normally would do at our events. And then we did a virtual parade asking people to send in their favorite memories of their 4th of July activities. Then Erie Irving, we knew that it was going to be challenging. So this summer we started planning a Halloween type event. So we came up with Erie Irving Park through Trinity View. Knowing that we were going to have some challenges, we're trying to just make sure to focus on providing for the community. We posted on social media. We only took one ad out, and it was in DFW Child Magazine, and we literally spent under $1,000 on this ad. So after we posted on social media, we saw the need. Within a week, we had over 3,000 people responding that they were either interested or going to be there. So at that point, we halted pretty much all the advertising that we were looking to do, going, we can't manage that many people in one day on October 24th between 4 and 10 p.m. So through the support of the PD and all of the Parks and Rec, we were able to create a drive-through haunted house, if you will. We had every rec center, the senior center, the Lively Point, which is our teen center, team up with city departments who volunteered to be a part of this event and hand out promotional things. So what they were able to do, I'm going to give you the visual of the event because it was really cool. So they were able to come through, drive through with a great entry with some flames. We had a headless horseman, a real one, who interacted with the crowd. We had two scarecrow still walkers, again, greeting them as they come in. Then they would take the turn. We had 10 different scenes, from pirates to clowns, not my favorite, to a witch's area, to the zombie apocalypse, which was for the older kids. It was a turnoff from our regular. But as they entered, they were able to get an Erie Irving bucket. We knew it was important. They might, under the current guidelines, they were told not to trick or treat or not trying to, it wasn't safe. So we knew that we had to give them a bucket. We had to provide them something to fill the buckets. So the city departments themed out, and they were at every stop to give items, whether it was candy, items from their department. So they literally filled their buckets all the way to the top, and in the end, each car got a pumpkin so they could take it home and carve it. There was a great video ICTN did. You can follow us on Facebook. It's posted on there, but it's a great overall look of what that event was. Like Joe mentioned, we were hoping to get 1,500 cars through. We prepared for that, in addition to 3,000 buckets for the kids. We had a few pumpkins left over, and literally maybe 30 pumpkins or 30 buckets left. We ran out of everything else. So we easily had 1,500 cars go through. We're estimating about 8,000 people that went through, that we were able to give them something to do for Halloween. So we're just super excited for the Christmas. Again, we're looking at having to do something different, since we won't be able to have the parade and tree lighting, but we're looking at adding some programming down at Centennial Park. Since we already have the lights there, doing some programming there every Saturday leading up to Christmas. So, we're just going to stay connected with the community and do everything that we can to keep them active outdoors and having fun while they're doing it. So, again, super fun time to be a part of events, and just look forward to being able to bring big events to the Levy Event Plaza and to Heritage, as well as some other opportunities. But it's going to be exciting, and I look forward to the next couple of years seeing how that foundation is built. So, thank you.
As Amy just pointed out, there's a lot of exciting things going on in our department during these times. One other thing I want to mention to you, with the pandemic, we've seen an explosion on our trail usage. I mean, it's like everybody's on our trails, everybody's walking their dogs, riding their bikes, everybody's on the Campion Trail. During this time, we were fortunate enough to had 2 trail extensions open up, 2 separate trails, both in South Irving. One of them is the Mountain Creek extension, which runs from Mountain Creek Park and it connects right down to downtown trails. And then the other one is the Rock Island extension that runs along Rock Island from down from the DART station all the way up to by City Hall. And it's amazing. Every day as I was driving into work, I could see the Rock Island Trail, and I'm watching it as it's under construction. And as soon as they started pouring the concrete, people were out there walking. I mean, if there was a block of concrete, people would walk that block, turn around and walk back. And so every day as it got longer, people were walking it longer and longer. And I mean, I don't even think we got a chance to even get the lights working before people were out there with their families every night walking the trail and just utilizing that trail. And we finally got the lights connected and got it turned on. And I mean, it's a beautiful trail on Rock Island, and our residents are taking full advantage of it, along with the rest of our trail system. And as I talk about finishing up with our trail systems, one of the things you'll notice if you've been on our Campion trails, I know Rick is a big user of our Campion trails. We have the northern section, we have the southern section. And so everybody's always asking, when are we going to connect the 2? And that's what we're working on right now. I know there's a design out there to connect the 2, and our CIP department is working to do the background work on that, to get the funding lined up and get the construction ready to roll on that. So I know that should be coming along, and construction should be starting on that in a year or 2, and Campion Trails will be finally completed, and then we'll have a simultaneous trail running from north to South Irving with connections to Grand Prairie. There'll be a Dallas connection. Up north, there's already a Carrollton Farmers Branch and a Capel connection. So we will be, I believe, one of the most connected cities in the Metroplex when it comes to trails. You'll be able to ride across Irving and ride into other cities and other parts of the Metroplex off our trail system, which is something that I'm very proud of. Our guys do a great job maintaining those trails, and making sure they're safe for people to get out there and ride on and walk on and just enjoy the beauty that we have here in Irving as a whole. So very proud of that, very proud of the things that we're doing, and the support that we get from our management and council and the things that we do to provide a great park system for you guys. So I will wrap that up. And I know, if there's any questions or anything that you want to ask me about our Parks and Recreation system, I'll gladly open that up for you guys. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. The Levy family sold the property to the city, and the project was purchased. The TIF board made the decision to purchase that property. I think it was right around $6 million or something like that for that purchase. Then there was about $2 million in renovations to that property. When you look at the site, you really don't see a lot of the renovations because a lot of it was shaping it for more or less like a stadium seating. It's sloped up, so when we have concerts and you can sit on the lawn and you'll be able to see above the people in front of you. As Amy mentioned, there's a lot of concrete out there, and that was purposely put there so when we bring in mobile stages, they can drive in on the concrete. We can set the stage up we have multiple locations where we can set the staging up if we have concerts and events out there. All of the electricity, everything's in place, so you won't have wires running around, you won't have generators running around out there. There's LED lighting placed out there. There's picnic tables out there. So when we're not having events, it's an open space for those residents. There's a lot of residents down there now because along Lake Carolyn. So it serves as dual purpose. It's an event center for us, but it's also a place where in the evening, people can go out there, sit down and relax. You can go out there, have a picnic and enjoy the lake. We plan on doing some programming out there, doing some, Tai Chi classes out there. Some boot camps out there and some other things for those residents out there. But it's a really great site. And then if you have ever been out to our fireworks show that we have out there on the lake, think we're the only people in the Metroplex that shoot fireworks from water, you know, so that's something that we brag about. But I mean, it's an awesome backdrop to sit out there and to see the fireworks come from the water, and it just lights up that whole urban center. I'm super excited about that project. If you can't tell, I can just envision the concerts that we can have out there. I'm going to challenge Amy with a lot of things. I think outside of it, just concerts, I mean, I can see us doing theater out there in the park. We have a comedy show that we do out in the park. I mean, there's just a wide variety of things that we'll be able to do there. And not only there, but also in the urban center. Those two sites give us two great sites that we could program and do events and activities for our citizens. And I think it's going to be fantastic. So I hope I answered your question. You wait till we get out there and we start having some concerts out there. It's going to be a great site, sir. Is there anybody else have any questions on what we have going on in Parks and Recreation? Rick?
Joe, I have a question.
Can't hear him. There you. Try it again, Rick. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, Joe, I have a question. Could you elaborate a little bit about what's going on at the Heritage Park relevant to the railroad car, since our heritage is tied to the railroad? I think I read something where it's some gentlemen took that on as a project. I've seen your presentation. Could you tell us a little bit more about the heritage? I think that's going to be such a cool area. So,
absolutely. Irving's history is tied to the railroads. And when you go to Heritage Park, it's obvious. You have the caboose out there. And so we wanted to keep that heritage. So what we've done is we've kept all of those amenities. We moved them to the parameters. So they'll be around the outside of the park to create an open space on the inside. We are restoring the original caboose that's out there. Our CIP team just went through tremendous efforts to find somebody to restore it to this vintage look and not do anything to destroy the integrity of it. The old depot, which the original library that was out there will still be there. We're going to turn that around, do some renovations to that, and you'll be able to rent that out for parties and functions. We kept the water tower is going to be there. So all the amenities are still there. Castor Cabin is still there. And there's actually, they're going to do some additions to that. Because it's supposed to be two cabins. There's a footprint that shows where the second cabin would be, and I guess they call it a dog run, which would connect the two facilities. So that layout will be out there with Castor Cabin. So it's, even though the park is getting a renovation, it's going to keep all of its historic features. As Amy mentioned, the amphitheater, the theater that we're building out there, it's going to have an old look to it. It's going to tie into downtown, into the train theme that we're going to have there, alongside of what is the street? What is the street? It's not. I think it's Hastings. There, the road is going to have cutouts for parallel parking into it, but then inside the park where we're going to have the caboose, we're going to have it. There's going to be a concrete pad there, and it's going to simulate train tracks. So it's going to look like the caboose is on train tracks out there in the park. So they've done a lot of things to update the park and make the park look great, but also keep its integrity, keep its historic features, and preserve the history of Irving and its connections to the trains. So we're really happy with that. I wish I had brought some pictures. I think I brought them last time, but next time I come out here, I'll bring some pictures out there to show you the renderings of it. It was a really unique process coming up with how we're going to design that. We had a couple of public input meetings before we started to design it. We reached out to citizens and we were like, what do you like? What do you want to see out there? So people really got involved, and CIP came back with a couple of designs, gave citizens another opportunity to look at those plans and say, no, we like this and we don't like that. And then everybody settled on a final design. And I think we knocked it out the park. And I think the Irving residents are really going to be happy once they see that out there. My feeling is I think that's really going to be the hub for downtown Irving eventually. Just like we talked about Levy, that's a site that we'll be able to do all types of programs and activities on. One of the things Amy talked about is we're going to have in the backdrop of the theater out there is going to be a large LED screen. It's going to be on there permanently on that stage. That's going to allow us to do some programs and activities. With the younger kids right now, esports is a big thing. I envision us doing some type of activity. We do a spin-off on Friday night football. Maybe we do a Friday night lights events where kids are doing esports and they're playing a football tournament out there in the park, on the grass, in front of that big screen. And then for adults, we don't always have to have live bands. We have with the LED screen, maybe we can have the opportunity to bring in and show concerts from different activities, different groups out there. We can have different themes. We can have country music night. We can have jazz night and be able to do all those types of things out there. So our idea is to really program that and keep that busy and just really keep the activity up and the interest levels up in downtown Irving. So we're really excited about that heritage site. So Rick, I hope I got your question there.
Yes, you have spot on, Joe. That's what I was looking for. That was my question. I would just like to say thank you for your leadership and excitement. It shows every time I hear your presentation. You're doing a great thing for the city of Irving with all the projects and all the parks. And what is Campion up to? 30 miles? I've ridden most of it.
We get that extension. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So my pleasure to say thank you for your presentation today. Thank you for answering my question. President Alsop, I turn it back to you, sir.
Thank you guys for having me. Max, it's good to see you again.
Joe, thank you for being here. Amy wanted us to remember that we've got a Christmas programming starting that first Saturday in December 5th. So we'll look forward to that. When do we expect Heritage Park, that project to be finished?
Heritage will be next year. I think it's next October-ish.
Okay,
around
good.
next
We'll
year.
need to make sure we have you back on the schedule next year and let you update us on that. If you haven't been out to enjoy the parks, I know I've been enjoying Town Lake Park over by where I live. Appreciate all the renovation recently to the playground equipment there. The kids all enjoy that as well. Councilman, we thank you for the investment it's made in the parks and the park program. Great team here. We appreciate all they're doing. Any other announcements? Y'all have a moment to stay around if people have questions for you, Joe and Amy? Okay, they'll stay around for just a couple of minutes, but why don't you stand with me? We're going to have Bob Bourgeois lead us in the four-way test. Bob, you up to doing this virtually? All right, we got it plugged in, Jordan. So the four-way test.
I think so. Can you hear me? Wonderful. Please join me in reciting the four-way test of the things we think, state, or do. First,
Is it true?
second, is it
Fair
fair?
and all concerned.
Third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
and fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you for that, Bob. Just a reminder, everybody, next week at Rotary, Sam Walker will be here with the Agua Resources Program. It's going to tell us about another water well that Rotary has sponsored in Mexico. And then 2 weeks from now, Chris Hillman, the city manager, will be here. So put Rotary on your schedule. We're excited about our programs between now and the end of the year. So Joe, Amy, thank you. What a great program. Excited about the parks and the trails and the events going on in our city. So we're adjourned. Thank you for being at Rotary today.